Good evening, I'm Mark Kelly, and this is The National. Embarrassing, disturbing, and ever more damning. New allegations bombard Donald Trump.
If it's true, this is just, it's bad for the United States of America.
Kevin O'Leary dropped out of the race, but his debt-ridden party leadership bid leaves creditors in the lurch.
For Kevin O'Leary, that amount of money certainly is not very significant, but for me, it's the rent.
Blowing up the office cubicle.
We're in an age now where people are working differently.
Will these spaces make you more productive?
That's a fabulous question.
Plus, Bob McDonald takes your questions on science, like, why do cats purr? It's a shadow he can't shake. Every time Donald Trump turns around, the specter of James Comey hovers. 10 days after the president fired the FBI director, we're still seeing the fallout. Today, even as Trump flew off on his first foreign trip, another set of dramatic revelations dropped. And there's more to come because Comey plans to talk. Lindsay Duncombe has our story from Washington.
If Donald Trump thought he could ditch D.C. and leave his troubles behind, he was wrong. Within minutes of Air Force One lifting off, more leaks. This one about that May 10th meeting with the Russian foreign minister, the same one where Trump reportedly passed on Israeli spy secrets. Someone read the official American account of the meeting to the New York Times. Trump reportedly told the Russians, "I just fired the head of the FBI. He was crazy, a real nut job." Adding, "I faced great pressure because of Russia. That's taken off. And I'm not under investigation." In a lengthy response to the paper, Press Secretary Sean Spicer complained about the leak, but didn't deny the story. That Trump linked his firing of Comey to an easing of the Russia investigation is seen by some as potential evidence of obstruction of justice.
The insults, the nut job, crazy, whatever, people can judge whether that kind of talk is appropriate or not, but I don't think it's legally all that significant. What's significant is that he's saying that there was pressure and he got rid of it.
At almost the same time as that story broke, the Washington Post published its own exclusive leak that someone inside the White House close to Trump is being investigated as a person of interest. And there's this. A friend of James Comey's told PBS how the former FBI director felt about Trump's White House.
The color of the wallpaper was that these were not honorable people and that protecting the FBI from them was his day job.
And he said this meeting, where Trump attempted to hug Comey at a gathering of law enforcement officials, was especially troubling.
Comey was just completely disgusted by the episode.
Forget chatty friends or leaky officials. James Comey is expected to speak for himself soon. He's agreed to appear at a Senate committee hearing, likely in a couple of weeks. What seems almost certain is the drama won't end with the president out of town. It will just happen in multiple time zones. Lindsay Duncombe, CBC News, Washington.
As we mentioned, Trump is on his first foreign trip as president. First stop is Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, where he's expected to give a speech on confronting radical ideologies. Well, to politics here at home. The Conservatives say more than 125,000 ballots are in to pick their next leader, calling it the biggest response ever for a Canadian leadership race. But there's a bigger number CBC News has learned. How much money is owed by a high-profile dropout? Catherine Cullen explains.
These were happier times when Mark Nadeau worked as a freelance translator for Kevin O'Leary's campaign. But then O'Leary surprised everyone by dropping out and endorsing his rival. Now Nadeau, a self-employed father of four, is going public to complain that despite pledges to pay, O'Leary's campaign still owes him about $3,600.
For Kevin O'Leary, that amount of money certainly is not very significant, but for me, it's the rent, it's the electricity bill, it's daily life for me and my family.
I don't like deficit spending.
In fact, an official from O'Leary's team tells CBC News the campaign is more than $200,000 in debt. And Elections Canada rules mean candidates can't use more than $25,000 of their own money.
I'm a numbers guy. That's a fact.
It seems even some campaign staff were waiting for their checks. But the official says everyone will be paid and that in fact many received payment today. In an email to CBC News Today, O'Leary wrote, "Most campaigns run deficits and continue to fundraise after the leadership race is over. This is common in all political races as the Elections Canada rules are clear." O'Leary raised over $1 million during his short time in the race. And when he dropped out, some wondered why he was still asking for money.
You're still fundraising on your Facebook page.
Of course, every candidate continues to fundraise. It costs money to campaign. I'll continue to do that.
And that is how he will pay back his debts. As he explained today, the O'Leary campaign is still actively fundraising and will do so until all the vendors' accounts have been cleared. Most vendors that work supporting political campaigns understand the nature of the rules and accommodate the process. His campaign points out that several candidates in the 2006 Liberal leadership race were still in debt years later. But back then, candidates could still take out large personal loans to pay contractors. That's no longer allowed. So instead, O'Leary has to convince individuals that they should part with up to $1,500 to help him pay for his now defunct campaign. Catherine Cullen, CBC News, Ottawa.
This time next week, the Conservative Leadership Convention will be in full swing. Peter Mansbridge, Rosemary Barton, and the At Issue panel will all be part of our live coverage next Friday and Saturday on CBC News Network, CBC Television, and of course online. Canada's growing trade tension with the United States has now hit the skies. The latest sore spot in the relationship? Aerospace. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has hinted that Boeing shouldn't count on Canada to buy its Super Hornet jets to replace the military's aging CF-18s. Now, that would be a $5 to $7 billion contract. This in retaliation for a new U.S. investigation into Bombardier's C-Series passenger jet. American rival Boeing accuses Canada of unfairly subsidizing the plane to sell it at below market prices. And the U.S. military scrambled fighter jets to escort an American Airlines flight today after a disturbance on board. The plane landed safely at Honolulu's airport after a passenger made a run for the cockpit. He was subdued by passengers, taken to the back of the plane, and duct taped into a seat. No one was hurt. Coming up, Toronto's real estate boom drowns out the music scene and drives out artists.
And cities become really boring.
Plus, new style workstations aim to boost output, but it's also important to look leading edge. Frustration, confusion, and disappointment. Those are just some of the words used in an open letter this week from Indigenous leaders, advocates, and families. They were expressing deep concern about the government's handling of a national inquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. Today, the commissioner addressed some of the issues. Briar Stewart has the details.
Thank you very much. This afternoon, a response to the criticism that has been growing for weeks.
We take full responsibility for our poor communication strategy, poor communications with the public and with the families as well.
That communication, or perhaps lack thereof, is a key part of the frustration being leveled at those running the national inquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. Around 40 Indigenous leaders, advocates, and organizations signed an open letter which was posted online earlier this week. It raised alarms about the structure and scope of the inquiry and urged commissioners to substantially rework your approach in order to regain trust and ensure that families are no longer feeling re-traumatized in this process.
Let's go.
Audrey Huntley has been working with Indigenous families, and she's one of those who signed on to the letter.
Family members have been very frustrated with the lack of transparency and communication around what's going on. They're hurt because media has been finding out things before they do.
This week, the $53 million inquiry also received a failing grade from the Native Women's Association of Canada for, among other things, not staying on schedule. But today, the Chief Commissioner says she's still optimistic.
I can tell you there's still a lot of hope out there. We still enjoy the support of many family members across Canada.
Bernie Williams' two sisters were killed. She is an Indigenous carver and today said she feels encouraged by the Chief Commissioner's message.
I just is really appreciated the honesty and how they're going to engage more and be more open, be more transparent again. And I feel a lot of hope.
Hearings will be held in Whitehorse later this month, but families in other parts of the country won't be testifying until this fall. Some are calling for an extension to the inquiry. Today, the Chief Commissioner said they are reviewing their timelines going forward. For now, the first interim report is due in November. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Vancouver.
For the second time in 2 weeks, the body of an Indigenous teen has been found in a Thunder Bay river. Local First Nations leaders are deeply concerned. As the CBC's Jody Porter tells us, they have questions about the timing of the deaths and the police response.
Mike McKay emerged from a healing circle this afternoon with a brief statement of gratitude and grief.
We had hoped for a better outcome, but it wasn't meant to be. And we just want to thank everybody for helping us out.
His grandson, 14-year-old Josiah Begg, has been missing for nearly 2 weeks. Police haven't confirmed the identity of the body found last night in the McIntyre River, but First Nations leaders say the family is convinced it's Begg.
Everything points in a direction that it is in fact him. The height, the weight, his clothing, his watch, his wallet, everything matches.
Begg was from a remote First Nation in Northern Ontario. For days, his mother has been pleading for information.
It's always making people laugh. Yeah. That's what I'm really miss right now.
Just last week, the body of another Indigenous teen was found in the floodway of the same river, 17-year-old Tammy Kiash. Her mother says she doesn't accept what police are saying.
Something more happened to her, just besides accidental drowning.
Since 2000, 7 Indigenous kids have been found dead in rivers in Thunder Bay.
Tammy and Josiah went missing the same evening. And that should alarm all of us, that there is something definitely wrong in this city.
A recent coroner's inquest into 5 past river deaths could not determine how 3 of those teens wound up in the water. The river deaths have sparked a social media conversation about racism and violence in the city. Dozens of Indigenous people are sharing stories under the hashtag This is Thunder Bay. The province's police watchdog is conducting a review after complaints about the Thunder Bay Police Service. First Nations say they may hire private investigators to look into the cases. Police, meanwhile, are asking for patience. Jody Porter, CBC News, Thunder Bay.
Ontario's government is pushing ahead with a proposed high-speed rail link between Toronto and Windsor. Today, Premier Kathleen Wynne committed millions for an environmental assessment along the corridor, home to more than 7 million people. If all goes to plan, the first stage would open by 2025. The province is looking for private partners to share the $21 billion price tag. And a damning new report on Quebec's Highway 13 snowstorm debacle places the blame squarely on the province. Hundreds of vehicles were stranded along the major highway during a blizzard in March. Many were forced to spend the night inside their cars. The report cites bad organization and communication by police and the Ministry of Transportation. British Columbians are still waiting for the final results of their provincial election more than a week after voting. Neither the Liberals nor the NDP won a majority, and now recounts could tip the balance of power. One of them on Vancouver Island was decided by just a handful of votes. Greg Rasmussen has the view from Comox.
Much hangs in the balance, not just this kite surfer, but an entire province left flapping in the wind, waiting for final results from this Vancouver Island riding. The NDP won here by just 9 votes on election night, triggering a recount.
Oh, I was super shocked. It was amazing that there was such few votes difference.
Hundreds of absentee ballots not counted on election night could easily change the result. This voter was out of town and wonders what difference her ballot will make.
My vote, it could be the one that changes the whole election. Yeah, every vote does count.
44 seats are needed for a majority. The Greens have 3. Right now, the NDP is at 41, and the incumbent BC Liberals won 43. The outcome here could lead to a majority, a coalition, or possibly the first minority government since the 1950s. At stake for the rest of the country, the Kinder Morgan pipeline and other resource megaprojects started by the Liberals but questioned by the Greens and NDP.
So is this the sort of thing you've been doing? Long walks to your head?
Walks are always good.
This candidate has been waiting since May 9th to find out if her 9-vote election night win will hold, and if she and the NDP will help remake BC politics after 16 years of Liberal rule.
I believe in celebrating the moment, staying in the moment, and it's better to be 9 votes ahead than 9 votes behind at this point.
Her BC Liberal opponent is the former commander of the local air base. Some believe military absentee ballots might help increase his share of the vote. If he ends up winning, it will likely mean the thinnest of majority governments for the BC Liberals. But he's not sure where the hundreds of votes not tallied on election night will go.
There's really nothing out there to say that the split that happened election night will be any different in the absentee ballots. It'll be close, we'll just have to wait and see.
The final count is scheduled to start Monday, with results expected later in the week. People here could be left dangling in the breeze even longer. That's because if the final tally is close, it could lead to a judicial recount. That would mean more delays and uncertainty for the entire province. Greg Rasmussen, CBC News, Comox.
If you're planning to spend the long weekend outdoors, you may want to put on a little more than sunscreen. The warmer weather also brings out another nasty danger, ticks. And officials are warning this year could be particularly bad. Here's Ron Charles.
This is how public health workers determine where ticks have taken hold. They drag white cloths over the leafy ground in forests. Curtis Russell is the foremost tick expert at Ontario Public Health. And you lift it up, and anything on it?
Pick it up and take a look. Again, it's being white, so hopefully, because the ticks are dark, we can notice that they are on there.
Russell is most concerned about this tiny crawler, the black-legged or deer tick.
For Lyme disease, this is the only tick we're worried about in Ontario.
Lyme disease is an often debilitating condition caused by a bacterial infection transmitted by black-legged ticks. Hotspots can be found in Nova Scotia, Quebec, Ontario, Manitoba, and BC.
We find ticks in the fall, those are ticks from this
Russell says climate change and warmer, shorter winters have increased the numbers of established tick populations.
So back in the 1970s, we only really knew about Long Point in Ontario, and now since then we have, pretty much the North Shores that we're seeing them spread across.
Russell offers basic advice about avoiding black-legged ticks.
Enjoy the outdoors, but if you're hiking or biking or jogging, stay in the middle of the trail because that's a dry environment. They don't like to be there, but if you deviate off that and go into the brush, that's where we see them. So we try to tell people, wear the long sleeve, light colored clothing, tuck everything in. That way the tick has a long way to crawl up before they can get onto you.
And if you find that a black-legged tick has burrowed under your skin to feed on blood,
find forceps or tweezers, grabbing the tick as close to the skin as possible and pulling it straight out. That's the only recommended way.
He says getting that tick off as soon as possible is crucial because typically infected black-legged ticks only start transmitting the Lyme disease bacteria after 24 hours. Ron Charles, CBC News, Toronto.
Symptoms of Lyme disease begin 3 days to 1 month after a bite, but the sooner you get to the doctor, the better. If diagnosed early, the infection can be treated with antibiotics. But if left untreated, it can cause lasting damage. Now you know. Straight ahead, Swedish authorities drop their rape investigation of Julian Assange, but he's still in a jam.
Tonight on The National, East Germany throws open its borders to the West.
Future generations may very well point to this night and say, that was the night the Cold War really ended.
West Germans have climbed up in a section of the wall. They're standing about 10 deep, looking over on the other side at soldiers on the other side. They're cheering, they're taking photographs, they're popping champagne corks. It's a party scene that's going to go on the whole evening.
It seemed like all of East Berlin took the day off work to go and see how the other half lives. From morning till night, they streamed through the checkpoints into the western sector. Only 24 hours ago, heavily guarded, now wide open. All were given a rousing welcome.
For East Berliners by the thousands, this was their first heady taste of true freedom. The tears of joy mingled with looks of disbelief, as though the enormity of the moment was so overwhelming, they weren't really sure what to make of it all.
In sections big and small, the Berlin Wall is coming down. To those watching, it was a history-making act of demolition. Some German adults who remember Berlin before the wall found the experience emotionally wrenching. As a student, this East German was taught that the wall was meant to keep out evil capitalists. Today, he came to watch people punch holes in it.
I wanted to see all with my own eyes, and now I saw it, and it's fantastic.
Good evening from West Berlin. I'm Peter Mansbridge. That's the Brandenburg Gate.
Visitors from the east who poured in through the historic Potsdamer Platz received a welcome that brought many to tears. It seemed fitting that Western police and Eastern soldiers should link arms to hold back the cheering crowds. On the ground, a performing bear joined the party.
The wall openings are becoming a daily tradition here now, as East and West agree there have to be more routes to handle the tens of thousands of East Berliners who are crossing every hour. The vast majority just coming to take a look, do a little shopping, and then head back. And East German soldiers who used to look pretty stone-faced now look pretty tame with their flowers and smiles. The Germany of tomorrow is being shaped today in this Berlin autumn unlike any we've ever seen.
The suspect in yesterday's Times Square rampage was in court today as police gave a clearer picture of what happened.
He waited for those cars to pass, and he accelerated, striking down these pedestrians.
Richard Rojas is now charged with murder and multiple counts of attempted murder. He drove his car into a crowd, killing a teenager and injuring 22 people. 3 are still in critical condition, including a 38-year-old Canadian woman. Disgraced former U.S. Congressman Anthony Weiner has pleaded guilty to sending sexually explicit photos and messages to a minor. Weiner gave a tearful apology in court. He now must register as a sex offender and faces a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has claimed an important victory today after Swedish prosecutors dropped their long-standing rape investigation against him. Though he's hardly walking away from controversy, still holed up in a foreign embassy and still wanted by the U.S. government. But as Thomas Degg reports, he seemed determined to sell it as a big win.
The crowd outside grew and grew, a sign of the weight of today's development for the man living inside that Ecuadorian embassy. Julian Assange has been holed up there, fighting extradition to Sweden for what he says is a trumped-up case.
7 years without charge. Why my children grew up without me. That is not something that I can forgive.
Swedish prosecutors announced they're canceling his arrest warrant stemming from an alleged rape in 2010, unable to bring Assange to Sweden to face trial. The decision to discontinue the investigation is not based on an assessment of the evidence, the chief prosecutor said.
The fact that the proceedings lasted 7 years was entirely down to him seeking refuge in the Ecuadorian embassy rather than going to face trial in a country that's governed by the rule of law.
Outside Assange's refuge, his supporters greeted the news as a big step forward.
Well, I think it is the final chapter. He has been granted political asylum by Ecuador, and he will be flying to Ecuador.
Easier said than done.
It's unlikely he'll be walking out that front door anytime soon. Police here in London have already said if he does, he'll be arrested for skipping court back in 2012.
Not to mention the threat of extradition to the U.S., where he could be charged for releasing classified information through WikiLeaks.
Come on, fire!
Like this now infamous video showing the U.S. Army shooting Iraqi civilians from the sky. The Trump administration wants to jail those it considers leakers, and British officials are growing tired of providing a constant police presence at the embassy.
I simply hope that we can find a way forward that doesn't involve any more police looking after Mr. Assange and wasting everybody's time and money.
Today, Assange claimed victory, but cried injustice.
the road is far from over. The war, the proper war, is just commencing.
For now, though, back into the embassy he goes, with a smile that hides more trouble ahead. Thomas Douglas, CBC News, London.
Folks, it's Friday. What do you say we have some fascinating fun?
So just lying on a beach in Brazil, you're faster than an F-18, right?
Peter sits down with our Sultan of Science, Bob McDonald, as he answers your questions.
Essentially, the creative people that make the city interesting aren't making a lot of money.
Plus, Toronto's music scene gets priced out of the city. First, let's check the day's business numbers. The TSX rose 181 points. The dollar was up 0.3 cents. In New York, the Dow rose 141 points. The price of oil was up more than $1 a barrel.
The National with Milton Nash.
Good evening and welcome to rainy Vancouver and Expo 86.
The province they call supernatural is ready. They've been drilling, painting, cleaning, and checking all week.
I think everyone's relatively calm.
There's everything here, from the world's biggest flagpole to the world's biggest hockey stick and the world's biggest hockey puck.
You never know what you'll see next, and you never know who you're going to meet next. There's the mascot of the fair, Expo Ernie.
Well, bless my little robotic heart. Noel Nash and a crew from the National. How do you do? Glad to have you here.
Expo is a fair about transportation, so this state-of-the-art monorail was a natural. For the first 2 months, it kept breaking down, but now it's carrying capacity crowds. The sun shone for the first time in weeks in Vancouver today, and with the sun, Expo 86 came alive. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people got to see the fair for the first time. Being Saturday, it was a big day for the children. And for children, what counts at a fair is the fun. There was no shortage of that.
Just great. It's bringing the whole country together, too.
$5,000 is spent every night by Expo for a computerized laser and fireworks show. It's called International Nights of Fire.
We've never seen fireworks like that before. Oh, that was awesome.
At 86th Street, they party with the Powder Blues Band, and they obey the rules to eat, drink, and go crazy. When they first opened, these nightclubs had so many customers, things sometimes got out of hand. So extra doormen were hired. Proper dress is now required. The people who don't like dress codes still have a place to go, though. At the Irish pub, there doesn't seem to be any code at all.
Expo has done itself proud. That's great. They did well. I enjoyed myself like no other time.
It's the best thing that ever happened to British Columbia and to me.
I love it. I've had a great time here.
When we said in the House of Commons that was the most ridiculous policy ever, then if you will just wait, the truth will be given to you.
To unfurl a flag that is truly distinctive and truly national in character, as Canadian as the maple leaf on your badge.
When the cavalcade rolled up to a stage where Trudeau was to make remarks in support of the local candidates, he was confronted by sign-carrying hecklers again. This time protesting high unemployment. Trudeau's response, as it has been throughout this campaign, was to fight back.
Yeah, we saw you last night with your painted and hired signs and your hired friends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of you holding signs like little boys. Come on, go and look for some jobs.
No, you're lost without your notes.
This lady just wouldn't give up and kept up a barrage of one-liners throughout the speech.
Are you running as a rhinoceros or as a liberal? Eh?
No rah-rah speeches. The truth.
Mulroney was frequently interrupted by a large and unusually provocative group of hecklers, most of them striking workers at the Gainers meatpacking plant in Edmonton. Mulroney appealed for calm, didn't get it, and didn't like it.
You can yell and you can scream all you want. I've fought bigger and better people than you, and I'll do it again.
As the Prime Minister continued toward his car, he came face to face with one of the demonstrators. Suddenly, Chrétien took the man by the back of the neck. His other hand was over the protester's mouth. He pushed him aside. Seconds later, another protester approached the Prime Minister. Chrétien knocked over the bullhorn that was in his hand.
But he was right in front of me, shouting and trying to block my way, so I took him out.
He's been making sense of science for us for 40 years. And every year he takes your questions.
And I love questions like this, where you look at something in everyday life and you say, like, why is it like that? That's how science works.
Questions like, what is gravity really? Want to know the answer? Well, we sat down with CBC science correspondent and host of Quirks and Quarks, Bob McDonald, for a special two-part one-on-one. And tonight, here's a special preview. So let's get some answers. So here we go again.
Here we are again, Peter.
Yeah, favorite show of the year. First of all, before we start, you've been in Victoria 7 years now, abandoned the big smoke, and went out to the perfect climate, or almost close to it.
Yeah.
You loving it?
I love it. Although we did see snow this year, heaven forbid.
Yeah.
No, it's great. And as you know, I'm a sailor, so the sailing's just fabulous out there, but all over the Gulf Islands, completely around Vancouver Island. It's just terrific. I love the West Coast.
You're the envy of all of us. All right, we got lots of questions, as usual, from Canadians who are fascinated by these puzzles, but equally fascinated by your answers every year. Ryan Mazin from Vancouver writes, why do cats purr? Some people say that only domestic cats are the ones who purr, and wild cats don't purr. If that's true, then what's the reason?
Well, purring for a cat is the equivalent of a smile for us. So we smile when we're happy. When little kittens are all piled on top of one another, they purr to let each other know that they're there. They're cuddled together for heat and comfort. A mother cat purrs to its kitten to bond with it. When you touch the cat, it purrs. When it's rubbing up against you, it purrs. It's happy. But they also purr when they want something. So when you're feeding a cat, you may not notice this, but when you're pouring the food into the bowl, the cat's purring like crazy. And that's a plaintive smile. And we do that as well. When you want something, you smile. Hey, Peter, can you loan me $20? You do that, right?
I'm smiling hard.
Yeah. So the cats do that as well. So it's their equivalent of smiling. Cats that purr do not roar, and cats that roar do not purr. So the only big cat that purrs is a cheetah. But the big cats, the lions and the tigers, and the cougars, they do not purr, they just roar. So that's the distinction.
This one's from Aram Hyder, a student. And here is her question.
Is there any scientific evidence to support the multiverse theory?
Now, it's a good question. I didn't even know there was such a thing as a multiverse, but I figured it's the opposite of a universe.
Yes, well, it's another way of looking at the universe. The universe that we live in is three-dimensional. So you have up, down, side to side, and height, width, and depth, right? That's our three-dimension. Actually, we can say four dimensions because we have time. In physics, they can add dimensions. Like dimensions to a physicist are just like adding more numbers. And so theoretically, there could be alternate ways of describing the universe that are beyond what we can see. So if you imagine you lived in a two-dimensional universe, you lived on a plane, just on a sheet of paper, you had no concept of the third dimension, you would know about a circle, but you wouldn't know about a sphere because a sphere is three-dimensional. So we live in this three-dimensional world, we understand spheres, those on a two-dimensional world would not. We understand circles, but that's all they understand. In a multi-dimensional world, it's just another way of looking at the universe beyond what we can see ourselves. Is there physical evidence for that? No. But when we start going into black holes, where time and space are warped into other dimensions to the point where it's no longer the world that we live in, then yeah, let's start thinking about other dimensions. When gravity takes over, when everything gets beyond the ordinary, then they start thinking in multiple dimensions just to figure it out. How did it start? What was the Big Bang? What was the moment of the Big Bang like? And they like to think in multidimensional universes to do that.
All right, a couple more questions. Wayne Trelinsky. Have sea levels changed? If so, why does my October 1978 VFR navigation chart, pilots use these, show St. Andrews Airport, northeast of Winnipeg, at an elevation of 758, and today is 760? If sea levels are rising, wouldn't St. Andrews be less than 750 or something?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Sea levels are rising, but so are the continents. So is North America, because 12, 15,000 years ago, it was the Ice Age, and there was a glacier that was covering North America, and North America's, well, the whole Earth is sort of like my little Earth globe here. It's squishy. Okay, it's squishy like this because it's liquid. There's liquid on the inside. So here in North America, our whole continent was covered in ice down to Wisconsin, and that ice was heavy. It was several kilometers thick, and it actually pushed the continent down. It weighed on it and squished it in like this. After the glaciers melted, the land is rebounding. It's called isostatic adjustment. The land is actually coming back up, and it's still rebounding today from the ice age. So it's going up about a centimeter or two a year. And that's why his elevation, he's in the middle of the continent. So it's the ground that's coming up from the rebound of the glaciers. Sea levels are totally different from that. At the same time, when the glaciers pushed the middle of the continent down, the edge went up. So British Columbia and the West Coast came up above sea level, and that made the famous West Coast Trail. So the people from Asia, when they came across the Bering Land Bridge, they had a trail down the coast. Since then, as the center of the continent came up, the coast went back down again, and now that trail's underwater. So while the middle of the continent is coming up, the coasts are actually going down. So it's sort of like this, kind of neat, flexible Earth.
And Wayne, keep updating your nav charts. There'll be 10-year-old charts there. This is a great question. Naima Abdullah, why do trees grow against gravity?
That's a fabulous question.
Yeah.
And trees are looking for the sun, right? So they need sun because they're driven by the sun, they're solar powered, so their leaves are trying to get up. But the stem, the roots, have to go down to find the water. And if you think about it, when a seed falls on the ground, it can fall in any position. So how does the seed know when it starts sprouting that the roots have to go down and the leaves go up? Well, the leaves are photosensitive. They can see sunlight, so they grow towards light. The roots, in the tips, there are actually little tiny particles that sense gravity. And they can feel gravity and they know which way to go. So that's how trees know where the ground is and where the sky is. And in space, this is a problem. They want to grow plants in space. If we're going to go to Mars, we can't bring food from Earth. It's too heavy. They want to grow it in space. They've had a heck of a time growing plants in space because that gravity cue's not there. The roots don't know which way to grow, so they just kind of grow into a ball and get all tangled up. We can make the leaves grow up. You can put a light above it. The leaves fine, but the roots are a real problem. So they either have to spin them around in a centrifuge to make artificial gravity or entice them with water to get it go down. So it's a very good question, how plants know all about gravity and they know about sunlight.
All right, last question. Darren Green, Hamilton.
If the Earth rotates at 1,000 miles an hour, then if a helicopter hovers in one spot, how far would it be from the location started in, say, 3 minutes? Is the gravitation holding it in place?
So what he's talking about is the turning of the Earth. So the Earth goes around in a counterclockwise direction like this. Every day we travel all the way around the world, if you think about it. If you stand on the equator, you are moving at 1,600 kilometers an hour, which is supersonic. So just lying on a beach in Brazil, you're faster than an F-18, right?
You're breaking the sound barrier.
Yeah, just lying on the beach, around the center of the Earth. In Canada, we're a little further up. The circle isn't as big. So in southern Canada, we're doing about 800 kilometers an hour, which is about the speed of a jet plane, a jet airliner. And so if you travel to the west, and this happens to me when I'm flying home to Victoria, if I go from Calgary to Victoria, it's about a 1-hour flight, but there's also a 1-hour time difference. And I very often find my takeoff and landing time are the same. So the plane is flying about the same speed as the Earth, but in the opposite direction. So what the plane's doing is lifting me up for an hour, the Earth rotates, and then it puts me back down again. So in Canada, in 3 minutes, you cover about 40 kilometers to the east. In 3 minutes. On the equator, you do about 45 kilometers. So that's how far you pass. We're moving really quickly, just from the Earth turning. It's astounding, eh?
Great questions again,
Yeah.
and we got lots more.
Yeah.
So you're in for another one?
I'm in for another one, Peter.
Great. We'll talk within the next couple of weeks.
Okay, thanks, Peter. Always a pleasure.
Good evening from London. It was a glittering and magnificent ceremony here at historic St. Paul's Cathedral, the marriage of Prince Charles and Lady Diana Spencer.
It was as if all of London was in love. 600,000 people filling the streets, come to share a special day. As they cheered every carriage, and as they listened quietly to the ceremony on the speakers,
I pronounce that they be man and wife together.
they were, quite simply, rejoicing.
Because I love these things. I love royal weddings and royal anything.
Yes, it's Britain, isn't it? It's Britain.
We're here because we're English, we're British. This is a great day for us.
The crowd in front of me today has been absolutely marvellous. They've enjoyed themselves watching the procession, and they seem to have enjoyed it thoroughly.
It was a time to forget all the troubles, and anyone who tried to bring them up didn't have a chance.
For the country.
It's good for the country, yeah,
it's good
but
for ordinary people like me who go to work every day.
Yeah,
And
but
for
what about
thousands
people
and
that
millions of
haven't
other
got jobs?
people like us, all right?
What about
It's
people
good
that haven't
for
got
us.
jobs?
I enjoy it.
What about
That's all
fellas
there is
like
to
me
it.
as well? What about fellas like me?
It's just for the ordinary working people who go to work every day who've got a job. All right, we're lucky we've got a job.
Yeah, but
This
what about
is
the people that
marvellous.
haven't
This
got
is
a job?
England.
Not only the British thought it was marvelous, the Trudeau children watched from Canada House with their mother.
Well, I thought it was like a fairy tale. And like the trumpets and the band and the Prince Charles was the prince and Lady Diana was the princess and was very happy.
What did you think of Lady Diana?
I think she was very beautiful, and I'm glad that Prince Charles has picked her. He has made a very good choice.
Misha, what did you think of the whole thing?
I think the band was nice. I'm a musician myself, so I would think it's nice all the time. Lady Diana was nice, Charles was nice, the church was nice, the Queen was nice.
Not just the children, but all the world seemed captivated by the beautiful princess in her magnificent dress.
She looked beautiful. She had lovely frills around here, and she looked like a lemon colour, didn't it? Lemony cream, it wasn't white. Lovely.
Even as they saw it, this London fashion house was copying it, frantically working from a sketch made the moment the bride appeared on television.
Ours is white, hers was ivory, more to cream. Secondly, really the important thing is we are not using pure silk, we're using artificial silk, and therefore it's a lot cheaper than Lady Diana's or Princess of Wales dress would be if one could buy it, which of course you can't.
Within hours, 3 copies of the dress will be in London stores. Within days, thousands. The wedding has obviously been a tremendous boost for the British fashion industry and for the British economy, and also, perhaps above all, even if only fleetingly, for a faltering British spirit. Eve Savory, CBC News, London.
We did a river run, perfect if you want to experience nature as quickly as possible. This canyon that took 500 million years to make, we found through in about 6 minutes.
The new season of Still Standing begins Tuesday, June 27th on CBC.
And one day we'll wake up and like a large part of Music City, Toronto won't exist.
The hunger to live in downtown Toronto seems greater than ever. There's a steady influx of people who want all the action right at their doorstep. But here's the thing. The real estate boom is proving fatal for many music venues, and some say that's killing part of the allure of living downtown. Here's Natasha McDonald-Dupuis with the Scene Stealers.
We're at a point, too, where we're like, can we even stay in this city because it's becoming so expensive?
Artists are leaving. You know, I have friends moving to Hamilton.
Big bands didn't start from nowhere. They don't just show up and play at Massey Hall.
This is what Toronto's now familiar skyline looks like. The office towers don't dominate. Instead, it's expensive condos. And more are being built every year as people flood into the downtown core, driving up the cost of owning a home and renting. But in many ways, it's artists who are also paying a price, running out of places to play. In the last year, a number of the city's live music venues suddenly shut down. Some can't handle the steep rent increases. Others have been sold to condo developers. Justin Oliver used to own the Holyoke. 8 years ago, his rent was $2,000 a month. When it got to $4,000, it was lights out for good.
Holyoke is kind of a lot of things to a lot of different communities. whether it be people playing funk or jazz on a Tuesday or DJs. Sometimes we have big queer parties where people come and, you know, just express themselves.
The shift happened relatively quickly. Seemingly in a blink of an eye, rent prices soared in the city. Cheap neighborhoods suddenly gentrified, and small venue owners began to throw in the towel.
People that basically work their jobs, go home, watch TV, and have kids and whatever. They do their thing. Maybe a lot of them don't understand that, like, the people that are providing them with this richness of culture, it starts somewhere, you know. It doesn't just appear. It starts in places like this, or like Double Land, or the Transac. And without them, you know, the arts are suffocated, and cities become really boring.
Toronto used to be boring. Its nightlife was considered tame in comparison to many cities its size. But in the 90s, that changed. A vibrant club culture began to grow, and it spread.
What is your name, sorry? Jess Rose.
That's when Rosina Kazi moved to the city.
When we grew up, we came out of the 90s sort of hip-hop scene and house music scene, and there was just so much more DIY stuff. There was warehouse parties. Stuff was affordable. You could live here and work part-time.
She and others flocked to the city's core. Rob Squire, aka Prison Guard, became a fixture of the underground hip-hop and electronic music scene. He's a barber by day and a DJ by night.
Literally look at any of the stuff that used to be where Liberty Village is now, and that was where the entire after-hours scene of Toronto existed for the most part, right through all the way to the East End. You know, like there was the biggest clubs in the city.
But now artists are being pushed out of what used to be cheap industrial areas. Many have moved away or called it quits.
It's kind of all over the place. This is a techno collection that I bought off of some other Toronto DJs that have stopped playing because they're so frustrated with the landscape of it.
We've just seen it become so expensive, particularly for artists, for folks who don't have a ton of money. I think we're having a reverse of like when poor and working class and immigrant folks and artists lived in cities, and then people lived in the suburbs if you had money. So we're actually seeing the shift of that. So I kind of laugh about it to be like, we're just gonna move to the suburbs.
Essentially, the creative people that make the city interesting aren't making a lot of money. They're relying on, they have like service industry jobs, they're relying on grants, and like they can't afford $500 for a small studio.
To fill the gap, artists started to turn to DIYs, spaces not necessarily built to be music venues, like warehouses, lofts, or art galleries. They're much cheaper and vital to the fabric of the creative scene. DJ and promoter Aiton Tobin holds events in these spaces.
A lot of these shows are experimental or just like supposed to be the kind of dance parties that you lose yourself in, and I think that kind of vibe, it cannot be achieved in most of the venues.
Some of Canada's hottest acts started in DIY spaces, like Grimes or Arcade Fire. But as old warehouses are sold to developers, many DIYs have been forced to shut down too.
For all my bands, for Hooded Fang and for Phaedra, we were able to thrive and get, ahead, like a start in our musical careers because of DIY spaces. You know, a lot of larger venues are more concerned about drink sales and attendance. When bigger bars have no room for us to play, or have never heard of us before, it's these smaller DIY spaces and grassroots venues that have like taken us in with open arms and have housed us and fed us and like showed us around town.
I mean, the consequences of not nurturing that sort of cross-cultural dialogue or creating safe spaces for people of color or the gay community or trans community or super straight community being able to nurture ideas is that you end up with like very homogenous culture. And unfortunately, that's what I feel is happening in Toronto. You know, when you look at rap music, the biggest purveyor of street culture is a child actor from Forest Hills. Like, that's crazy to me, you know?
Most large growing cities face similar challenges. In the last 5 years, London, England, lost nearly half of its venues to gentrification, and because of stricter zoning and noise rules. It has since loosened those rules and introduced a slew of measures to facilitate the creation of new venues.
I think we'll become closer to what Vancouver is right now and just open up a lot of space for condo building and restaurants. And one day we'll wake up and like a large part of Music City, Toronto won't exist.
Toronto, however, isn't there yet. It's just starting to study the problem, let alone do anything about it. Any potential solutions likely are months, perhaps years away. In the meantime, it's last call for many acts like these. Natasha MacDonald-Dupuis, CBC News, Toronto.
Coming up next, the office cubicle is going out of style. We'll look at new concepts for making the most of your work.
When Calls the Heart. New season this summer on CBC. We're collecting and sharing the stories of Canadians.
That's hard.
From coast to coast to coast.
Oh, wow.
Tell us yours at cbc.ca/What's Your Story.
Let's talk about lunch. Not what you ate, but where you ate it. A new study confirms what many of us probably already know. A good number of us who work eat at our desks, and we eat alone. Nearly 3/4 of us pack a lunch each day. More than half of us eat solo, and almost 40% eat at their desks. Most likely to buck that anti-social trend? Well, no surprise, Quebecers. And while more people may be eating their lunch at work, fewer are doing it in cubicles. The reign of the enclosed, semi-private space is coming to an end, replaced by designs that promote communication, collaboration, and choice. Diane Buckner has more on this growing trend.
Imagine coming to work every day and having no desk of your own. You have to find a place to sit every day. That's the way it works at the Toronto headquarters of consulting firm Deloitte.
And there's about 18 different types of workstations on any given floor.
Ryan Brain is a partner at the firm. He oversaw the team's transition to the new space and a new way of working.
So none of these people sit in these chairs every single day?
Some may decide to, but that we encourage them to move all throughout the office depending on what they may have on that particular day.
Employees can choose from a quiet spot or a communal space, a meeting room, or a cozy cubby for private calls. Wondering where to stash your personal belongings? Everyone gets a locker. The buzzwords in office design these days are flexibility and choice. It's a far cry from what Canadian author Douglas Copeland once called veal fattening pens. It was 1967 that the cubicle was first introduced. Companies snapped it up.
It was sold to them also because it did save space, you know. You didn't have to have all that real estate.
By 2002, researchers were pointing out that cubicles can reduce productivity. Noise and distractions can make it difficult to focus. But even with Deloitte's fancy new office, which includes a gym and a meditation lounge, some staffers have resisted the no assigned seating policy, trying to lay claim to a regular spot by leaving a coat draped over a chair.
It's like going to a resort and you see the beach towels on the beach chairs in the morning and you can't find a spot. And that's what we're trying to discourage.
Nonetheless, he says feedback from staff is mostly positive, and the new layout helps to attract and keep staff. The old ways of working certainly aren't dead yet, but they're definitely in transition. Diane Buckner, CBC News, Toronto.
Finally tonight, an 11-year-old with a rare medical condition is off on an extraordinary adventure, taking in the sights before she loses her ability to see them. Ashley Burke has her story.
Jaden Lanning is drawing something she wants to see with her own eyes. She'll soon be able to do that on a trip to Paris.
I am pretty excited. I still can't believe that we're going.
The 11-year-old has a rare genetic disorder, Usher syndrome. It causes deafness, vision impairment, and balance problems. In serious cases like Jaden, she could become completely blind.
It's, you just can't fathom really going without your eyesight.
Her parents wanted to do something special for her.
We know that, it could be 5 years, 10 years, and you will not be seeing anymore. So if there was one thing you could see before you couldn't, what would it be? And she said the Eiffel Tower. I thought that was amazing. I would not have expected that she would have said that.
It seems like it would be kind of really cool to see it at night with all the lights lighting up the entire city and just seeing it glow. What place should we find? Paris.
To make Jaden's dream a reality, just about everyone the family knows fundraised.
We want that filing cabinet in our mind to just be full of memories of all sorts and all layers of memories, so that if we are faced with the future of total blindness, that she has so much to go on. She has so much to still live in her mind.
It's just whatever we can show her in the time that she has her sight. left is the most important thing.
With just a plane ride left between Jaden and the Eiffel Tower, she can't stop smiling.
I'm feeling pretty excited, and I can't wait to get there. And I just hope I'm not too tired.
Ashley Burke, CBC News, Ottawa.
Nice story. That's the National for this Friday night. For news at any hour, you can always go to our website, cbcnews.ca. I'm Mark Kelly. Thanks for watching and have a great long weekend.